Hi everyone, in this video we're going to work on headstand. This is a position I do every single day, and there's a method that makes it more accessible for many students. Okay, so in this video we're going to cover where's the crown of your head, what do you place on the mat, some tips with your hands, how to position them. You're going to want 3 or 4 blocks. We're going to set them up that way. I don't know how to describe that, but that really helps keep the spine nice and long. So you're going to want several blocks, a wall handy, and your mat. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to want to know is where's the crown of your head. And a method that I learned was to place the palm, the edge of your palm here, at the bridge of your nose. Remove your glasses if you're wearing any, and then where your 3 fingers land, not your pinky, not your thumb, that's approximately the crown of your head. A lot of newer students put their head down, they're too close to their forehead, and then that can really make the neck very vulnerable. Throughout this whole experience, you're going to want to decide, how does everything feel on your neck? Does it feel safe? Because that's going to be your stop. Every single phase, you just really need to assess, how does your neck feel? It's the most important component, okay? All right, so crown of the head. The other thing that tends to get in the way is that people tend to put their arms, spread their elbows too far apart. And you really need to have them tucked in-ish. Very technical here. All right, so I'm gonna show you more of an upright headstand. And then we'll go into the other two versions that I'm gonna show on this video. So center lines the feet parallel, connecting with your mountain pose. Center lines the legs, taking the hands back behind you, back behind your head for the moment. Elbows forward, head of the arms back, tuck the chin, and get the base of the skull back. So you're trying to line up ears over shoulders, over hips, over heels, and find length in the spine. Okay, getting a sense of this. And then the headstand, probably what the feet ultimately will be doing is some degree of a tilt. So you'll be reaching through the balls of the feet, inner lines of the legs, everything that we do all the time. We're just flipping it around, okay? So setting up blocks, you don't have to set it up this tall. You can, play with this, see what is best for you, but trying to get as smooth a line as possible. I'm not going to be pressing, I don't want to push this down, okay, this bottom block, and yet it can't be at the wall. Or you could do it like this. This might be even better. Okay, let's do that. So you have 2 stacked this way, 2 that way, okay? The only thing that this hinders is that you can't get your hands wrapped around the block, okay? For me in this version, I don't have my hands touching, okay? So again, there's no perfect, exact way that every single person is going to do this. So what's most important here is that this is going to be a guide for the spine. Okay, so I'm going to bring my forearms down, head of the arm bones in, getting the crown of my head placed on the ground so that the back of my head is going to tap this block, okay, this bottom block, and then I'm going to tuck the toes under and lift the knees. So this is your first assessment. How does your head, neck feel? You can you press into your forearms, lifting the head off the ground and placing it back down, making sure, seeing how does it feel for you. Your knees could be bent or straight. I'm just walking my feet in until my back hits the blocks. Okay, and then adjusting, lengthening. So I still have a lot of power in my legs at the moment. I'm definitely firmly pressing my back into the blocks. Okay, lengthen. We are not going to kick up into this. Okay, there's no kicking up in headstand. So you lift one leg and then just see, can you just float, 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 float. Okay, so I was just lifting one leg, lifting the other leg, but at no point did I push off the way I would in a handstand or a forearm stand. And then I'm fairly active with the legs, probably less so because I've got these blocks and they're really assisting me, so I forget to be as active in this variation of headstand. I so love headstand. Because here's how we're going to exit. You could do one leg at a time. You could do both legs simultaneously. But either way, you have to send your seat toward the wall. And we get confused when we're upside down. Where exactly is the wall? Okay, but we're not tucking. We're sending the seat back. Then you can lower one leg. You could bend the knees. Okay, just lower the legs. Nice and light. You don't want to come up quickly. Okay, all right. And then just assess. Okay, so a positive experience would be it would actually reduce the tension in your neck, never increase it. I can't think of any single yoga pose where the goal is to increase your neck tension. So if there are any poses that are doing that, something is off with the alignment. We're always trying to release the tension, okay, tension around the neck, around, our triggers, okay, and connect with the strength of the lower, right, of the rest of the body, and creating space for the breath. So for this next version, I'm not going to use the blocks. I'm even going to go away from the wall, just to show you the entry, okay? So I'm going to just set myself away here, and then here's where I'm going to interlace my fingers, okay? It's not even really cupping my head completely. It's going to be more like this, but I'm going to make sure that my pinkies are not crossed. So I have one tucked inside the other, and it'll give me a smoother position. It's not really, at this point, it's not really for the sake of balance. It's more, I don't want to put pressure on the bottom pinky. Okay, so this is more comfortable. And again, my elbows are not going to be too far out to the sides. Okay, so positioning my forearms, bringing energy up the body, head of the arm bones in. Sometimes people can't get the head down, and some people will use a mixture, like a narrow bolster or something that will elevate, will close the gap, okay, between the head not connecting with the floor and keeping the head of the arm bones grounded. I think I go a little bit out and back in as I start to come up, but I have the strength in my shoulders back to handle it. So again, it's just an exploration. So setting this up, getting the crown of my head onto the mat, being really careful here, have the arm bones in, tucking the toes, making sure that the neck feels good. I'm just adjusting a little bit, lengthening the spine. See how my seat goes really far back, okay, toward the wall. And once you're adept at headstand, it's almost like you could just float into it. So I could bend my knees, okay, and reach up. I could take both legs, okay, so that they just come up together, but I'm definitely not going to kick up. So I can feel my shoulders going sort of where there's a little bit too much pressure. And then as I stack the bones, okay, and line everything up, the shoulders release and I feel more organized. So it's just a little bit of a dance in this pose. Like I said, I absolutely adore this pose. So I can really be in it a long time. Sending the seat toward the wall again. Exiting just the way we entered. You could bend the knees here or keep them straight. Okay, this really is more up to the hamstrings than anything else. And then lightly landing. So it's really important for the neck that we don't jostle. We don't kick up. We don't land down in a hard way. We want to be really soft with the lift and the landing. That's absolutely critical with headstand. So this setup, or if they stay where they're supposed to, okay, then you could do something like this or just like this. Okay, so you find what gives you that sense of security. Oh, it's a phenomenal pose. And whenever I have a cold and congested with allergies or whatever, this, being in headstand, releases all the sinus pressure, right? So a pose done well, okay, should release neck tension, sinus pressure. If everything is where it's supposed to be and we're engaging effectively, intelligently, not gripping, then we really can reap the benefits of the pose. So I hope that this was helpful. I'd love to see your photos or receive feedback on what you think of this. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.